let's look at the next step in the factorisation process. We've got an example, x squared plus 5x plus 6, and we've got to factorise it. Well, if you're going to factorise it, you need to rewrite it with some brackets in. And the first thing you'd always ask yourself is there a common factor? You can see that x goes into x squared, x goes into that, but there's no x term there. So in this particular example, there are no common factors. If there are no common factors and you've got x squared, x is in a number, the answer will always be two brackets multiplied together. Okay, how do you find out what goes inside the bracket? Well, the first and the first term in each of the two brackets must both be x's, because if you imagine multiplying out the brackets, you would say the first term multiplied by the first term, and x times x gives you the x squared. In the few videos that follow this, every single time we'll have an x squared at the beginning, and so the two brackets will have an x and an x at the beginning automatically. If I was to put a 3x squared or a 4x squared at the front, that would make it a much harder question, and we'd have to be very careful. But in these, when we just got an x squared at the beginning, it's x and x automatically. Now what the problem will be is we've got to find out what number goes in there and what number goes in there. And you've got to be very careful with the signs, whether they're pluses and minuses. Now, in this video, we're just concentrating in an expression at the beginning where you've got a plus there and a plus there. And this type of question is probably the easiest one to factorise into two brackets. And this is what we do. We set up a little table at the side. To find out what these two numbers are, we put on the left-hand side a heading times and on the right-hand side a heading plus. And underneath the times sign, we go to the expression and we look at the number on the end. Now notice I've circled the plus as well as the 6, and that value plus 6 goes underneath the times sign. Underneath the plus sign, we go to the middle term and you look at the value in front of the x. You don't include the x itself, just the number in front, which is plus 5. And you put that plus 5 underneath the plus sign. Now what we're going to do is use the table to find the two numbers which go one there, which multiply to give plus 6, and we're going to write down what these numbers are underneath. But at the same time, they must add up to give plus 5. Well, if you think about it, both the numbers must both be pluses. A plus times a plus will give a plus. And when you add the two numbers together, a plus number with a plus number will give a plus answer. So think about this. If you had a minus times a minus, if this was a minus number and that was a minus number, when you multiply them, they would give a plus. But when you add the two minuses together, they would give a minus answer. So these two numbers must both be positives. Now, what two values will they be? Well, you've just got to know your times tables. It's either going to be a 6 and a 1 or a 3 and a 2. Well, if you think about it just for a second, it's got to be with a 3 with a 2. A plus 3 times a plus 2 will give plus 6. And then if you add them together, a plus 3 with a plus 2 added together give you an answer of plus 5. Now, if you think back to the negative number work we've done in the past, I would use the army method to add them together. Positive army 3 meets positive army 2. They're the same type of army. They join forces to give a big positive army of 5. Some of you might be saying, well, hang on, wouldn't plus 6 and plus 1 work? Okay, so I just jot that down there. There's no harm in having various attempts if you're not sure about what the answer should be. Plus 6 times plus 1 would give plus 6, yes. But when you use the addition of these two, army method, plus army 6 meets plus army 1, they would give plus army 7. And that's not the right answer. So I'm going to dismiss that answer. So the correct answer will be plus 3 plus 2. And it doesn't matter which way round you put them. I'll put plus 3 first, plus 2 second, but I could put the plus 2 first and the plus 3 second. And there you go. There is the bracket factorisation finished. You can always check this, because if you check it, you should get the line above because if you expand it out, this is what we get. X times x, you'd get x squared. Then x times plus 2 would give plus 2x. Plus 3 times x would give plus 3x. And plus 3 times plus 2 would give plus 6. And I think you can see you get the x squared there, you got the plus 6 on the end there, and the two terms in the middle would give you the plus 5x in the middle. So it is the right factorisation. I'll do one more in this video, just to show you with a different example. So if I had something like x squared plus 9x plus 20, and I said to you, can you please factorise that? This is what you'd do. You'd say, is there a common factor? X goes in that, x goes in that, but x doesn't go in that. Okay, so it's got three terms with no common factor. It's going to be a double bracket. Because it's x squared, you must have x and x. To find the two numbers, one there, you create a table. Times and plus as the two headings. Plus 20 on the end means you put plus 20 underneath the times. Plus 9 in front of the x means you put plus 9 underneath the plus sign. I'm looking for two numbers, put them in brackets. They multiply to give plus 20. They add up to give plus 9. They must both be pluses. If you know your times tables, it's either 20 and 1. No, that can't give plus 9 when you add them. 10 and 2. Well, 10 and 2 can't give plus 9 when you add them. How about 5 fours? Plus 5 times plus 4 give plus 20. And if you use the army method, positive army 5 with positive army 4, join forces, positive army 9. Correct. Plus 5 goes in that bracket, plus 4 goes in that bracket, or you could put them the other way round. And then if you wanted to, if you've got time in an exam, you could imagine multiplying it out, doing the 4 steps and simplifying it, and it would give you the line above. So that is, in a nutshell, how you factorise these expressions where you've got x squared, x is number, x squared, x is number, to get two brackets the same as it. That's the end of this video.